So on your online portfolio,
Yes.
there was this fun video for a game called Scrapraiders.
Yeah.
Which is like completely different from Forever Wild.
Of course.
And it's like this. You have to navigate this truck through this like desert environment. Had a machine gun.
Yep.
And it had like lots of like gameplay options. But whatever happened to the game? How did it get released, or is it still in the works? Or?
So this was a project that I started with a friend of mine from my postgrad. We'd been doing some work together. He'd had contract work and things, so we were already quite happy working with each other. He was a programmer, and we wanted to make a game. We came up with an idea with the game. He'd been working on a project to do with driving on the course, and so we had some code to do with driving, and I came up with a concept around that. And so I had a feeling that there was going to be a big kind of push into post-apocalyptic kind of games, and I'd been playing a game called Death Rally, which was particularly popular at the time. And so I designed this kind of game which was very Mad Max inspired and very arcadey. So you've got kind of things flashing red when you hit them and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of quite fun. And then there's customizable options. So Death Rally is a racing game, but you can shoot each other. Our game was you can shoot each other, and that's kind of the point, is to get to the end of the level. And there'll be bosses where there's big rigs with turrets you have to shoot off. And it was all meant to be a lot of fun. And it was good design. And then there's this opportunity at Abate, or not anymore, it's stopped now, but it's called the Prototype Fund. So that's what the video is from, is our application to that fund to potentially get some startup funding for the project. Unfortunately, we weren't successful at the time, and that kind of put the project on the shelf. I'd be happy to go back to it, but then it was incredibly disheartening to not get the money to produce it, not have the time to produce it, and then there was so many post-apocalyptic driving games that came out within a year. So like, if we'd got the money and actually hit it, I would have been onto something, which was very disappointing. Yeah, I can't even remember all the names of the games, but every time they came out, I was just like, oh, could have been there. Yeah, and I seem to have that luck, but it's just, again, it's finding investment or time to produce the games with my kind of feeling in my bones that something's coming along. So so the project's kind of on the shelf. It would be nice to finish it, but it's a big project for just 2 people to do.
How likely is it for a game to get a recognition from publishers?
Okay, what do you mean, be picked up, to be published?
Be picked up,
It really depends on how you go about putting it out there. I mean, I can't say I've got a huge amount of experience doing that myself. I do indie development personally, but mainly I do freelancing. I guess, if you go to a lot of festivals and events with your game, then if it gets enough attention, then I would expect publishers may contact you. Generally, you go to a publisher once you think you've kind of got enough social kind of value in your game that people know enough about it, and it's something they may see as a good idea to pick up. So I can't say it's easy. It really depends what you're trying to do with it and what the product is.
So have you got any projects in development at the moment, or are you busy teaching?
I'm doing a lot of teaching at the moment. I have got little side projects going on. I've got a little game I'm trying to finish before my birthday, which is it's loosely based mechanically on a mini game from Smash Brothers Melee. Not Smash Bros. Yeah, exactly. It's called Home Run Contest. Is a mini game from Smash Bros. And it's basically you have an object, you do some damage to it, and then the more damage you do to it at that time, the further it will go. And so I'm making a little game based on that, where you've robbed a bank or something, and this van pulls into a warehouse, drops off the loot, which will be like a safe, and so you're trying to break into the safe. And then when the time runs out, the police arrive and you've got to launch it to get rid of the evidence. So it's quite silly. It's kind of blocky and very simplistic, but it's kind of fun, and I just need to get on and finish it to publish it. Other than that, I'm working on a game designed with a recent graduate to do with anxiety and stress, which is a really interesting project. We've got some really good design and some really good feedback from people. We're now looking to see if we can get together a pitch for funding. So that's something that's not in prototype yet. I've got a game that I started with the students here, something they contribute to for the end of year show, which I need to continue developing, which is at the moment it's just a prototype. The students submit objects and they fall within the game and you have to avoid them, and it's a fairly simple platformer. So yes, there's lots of things going on, but it's just picking the times to add them.